What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel.
Yes, we here.
And we're just sitting with y'all today.
Yes,
We're sitting in your living room, in your car.
So grab your cup of Joe.
I forgot my
cup
drink.
of tea.
Ugh.
Wait,
It's poppy season.
What is that?
It's poppy season. It's
That's
cherry
not
limeade.
That's not even a cup. That's a can. Okay, grab your can of whatever.
Okay, we already know you're not a beverage person.
I know, you keep handing it to me. I don't want that.
Drink it.
No.
Sip, sip. The word today is get back up. Get back up. It's not over.
Bad.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
Your time and opportunity hasn't passed. The Lord is saying it's time to get back up. And you're like,
Tick-tock.
what in the world does that mean?
I think that
What do you think that means?
I think that we do things sometimes, and maybe we make mistakes, right? Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect except the good Lord that walked the
And
earth.
baby Shiloh's sitting over there.
Yeah, sitting over there. Shiloh, she's pretty perfect right now. She's pretty perfect. But nobody's perfect, and we make mistakes. And I think, for me especially, and I know a lot of you out there, comment below, this is you too, like you feel like when you make huge mistakes in your life in your past, and you feel like those mistakes may define you. Like those mistakes may disqualify you from being used by God or being used to do something great because someone's gonna pull up what you did or some internet clipping of you maybe in the club getting freaky with it.
Not
internet clipping. You know, a little internet clipping on Twitter. Who knows? It's going wild.
Are you
something
worried about
embarrassing.
the internet and your clippings?
Internet clippings, those internet clippings. The internet don't lie.
Actually, sometimes, not even lie, y'all go back in the videos. I don't have a click.
You ain't got none of that? You don't know clippings?
Squeaky screen pass.
Oh, squeaky clean.
And sometimes, like, I will literally think, oh gosh, thank God social media did not exist when I was in college, because I will have like vivid memories and go, did somebody record that? And then I think, no, nobody was recording anything.
But you'll even do that now, like, you got some friends from high school or blast from the past friends that like to just comment on an old video way in the back when you might have been doing something that you won't do that's out of character now, and then it's like you have to take that because you see it like trying to how to get rid of that. No, I'm just trying to connect the people. No, I mean, look at me. Hey,
golden boy.
But what I'm trying
pretty
to
boy
say,
swag.
Pretty boy swag. What I'm trying to say is like, God washes us clean. Regardless of what your past is, you let Jesus inside your heart. You are renewed. You are washed clean. That stuff does not define where you are. Yeah. But the enemy likes to come in and make you think and try to remind you of what you've done. He tries to remind you of what you've done so that you will forget who God is calling you to be. So he wants to remind you of your past, the things that already happened, the things that so you can think you're disqualified from doing the great things that God's asking you to do in the present, in the now. That's going to set up legacy for you. That's going to set your family up in the future. That's going to plant seeds in the ground that's going to build good fruit. Yes. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to keep us trapped and petrified and paralyzed to where we won't allow the Lord to use us.
That's true. And here's the deal. Here is the deal. When there's no battle on the outskirts, the battle in your mind is so real. And that's what I think you're talking about, being trapped by your past in the thoughts that you're thinking, or what people have spoken over your life, or lies you believed. It's shocking how much progress we don't make because of the story in our head.
Yeah.
And lies we haven't replaced with God's truth. That can cause us to not get back up. Exactly. Because God could be calling us somewhere And all we can rehearse is those lies that people have said, like you'll never be something.
Yep.
Y'all, listen, let me just tell you, let me just tell you something. One lie that's helpful, like just to share our story. So I had a reoccurring theme in my life that women who were in authority figures in my life told me that I would never be successful.
Yeah.
So from coaches to teachers to my two first bosses, like everybody.
First of all, why would someone ever tell somebody that? Like, what kind of person would just say you're not going to be successful ever Frederick, in your life in anything you do?
I'm not even joking. I had a boss. I'm 24 years old, and call me in, and it's my big review, and say, you are never going to be successful.
Wow.
And I literally said, my answer was, are we talking about in life? Or are we talking about like in this position?
But
and she literally goes, in life.
In life? What?
And then goes, actually both.
Both? She put that on. But here's the deal. People that say that stuff, they're really jealous of your destiny. They don't know how to put the words together. They don't really understand it, but they could sense that there's something on you, or you have potential, or you have this skill that they don't have, and they see it and they're insecure about it. So they want to try to put you down so that they can feel better about themselves, when in fact they know deep down inside you're actually going to be going places.
Exactly.
Even though they can't describe it, and they don't want you to feel it because they need that for their ego to be boosted.
Exactly.
But that's what I feel.
And that's
they're just
what,
jealous of your destiny.
the lies we believe. Like, let's think about where it came. Like, Frederick's talking about that, like the jealousy, even the fruit. Like, where did that come from? Look at that person's life and go, I mean, first of all, it's most likely, it is a lie. But it's like, look at that person's life. It's like, okay, like there's nothing about your life. Like, are you doing it?
Fruit.
Yeah, judge. What am I saying? Judge the fruit.
Oh, I was gonna say you gotta squeeze them melons. That don't sound. That sounds good. But you gotta
cut.
What I'm saying, like, I'm y'all for real. Y'all know me. Like, you go in the grocery store, right? I'm talking about the grocery store.
What is happening?
You go in the supermarket. You don't just grab the first fruit you see.
When are you picking up 2 melons?
But I'm just saying, that's the first fruit that came in my mind. You gotta squeeze the melon. But anyway, but you gotta grab, like, when you get a cantaloupe.
Hey, George! No way! I gotta exit this conversation.
First of all, when you go to the store, when you up in Kroger, Albertsons, wherever people shop for fruit these days.
1997?
Hey, no. Or Aldi,
Whole Foods, Trader Joe's,
Aldi, whatever it is. You grab the fruit and you gotta inspect it. You gotta squeeze it. You gotta see if the fruit's too ripe.
Can we move on from the fruit?
All I'm saying, you gotta inspect the fruit. So people's lives, their actions, the stuff
guys
that
are
they don't dictate
creatures.
That's what I'm saying. If their lives ain't lining up to what
fruit.
they're saying, then you should probably not be listening to what kind of advice they're trying to tell you, or where they're trying to lead you to go. If their life doesn't represent the life that you yourself want to live, I don't feel like we should be listening to those people.
No, it's wise counsel. So let's think about what voices we are allowing into our life, who you're walking with, who you're talking to. A lot of times, like, the discouragement and the progress we're not making, or the movement we're not making, or stepping out in faith has a lot to do with maybe who we're surrounding ourselves with. Again, what lies we're believing, who we believe God is. If we don't trust God because we think He's not coming through, He hasn't come through.
Yep.
If you're having a moment like that, this is what I would do, and I'm currently doing, is taking the time and rehearsing all the times God has been faithful in your life.
Yeah.
If just that, rehearse how good He is. If that doesn't invigorate and inspire you and motivate you to step out, because it's like, no, God has been good. Why would I not trust Him in this? And if He's telling me to get up and do something, then we gotta get up and do something.
Exactly. And even with that, what Jacqueline just said, remind yourself of the good thing God good things that God have been doing in your lives. Even though I challenge y'all right now, just comment below some of the good things that God is doing in your life, even right now. Comment below, because we want to celebrate that too. And it's encouraging for us, and I think it's encouraging for other people to see how God's moving in your life. Because you might comment something below right now that somebody needs to hear in their walk currently. So we just need to, I feel like there's the encouragement aspect is being lost in life today. We don't encourage people enough in the good things that are happening in their lives, or the good things that God's doing.
Well, because deep down, we're all waiting on something, right?
Yeah.
And in a day and age of social media, what do? We get on our phone, we're praying, we're fueled up in the morning, we're like, God, you gonna do it!
Yes.
Rise up! And then we get on social
9
media.
o'clock hits. 9 a.m. hits.
I was like, oh, time out. Okay, I didn't know Dana. I didn't know Dana had a... Dana's getting married. Dana's engaged before.
You're like, I didn't know Dana could find her person, but she did.
Let me just tell you, when we were going through all our stuff, and it was taking years for us to get to the wedding date, it's wild how many people got married before me.
Yeah.
How many, in my 20s, how many people had families and babies? How many people in their 30s?
Everybody's getting married.
It's like,
what's in the water? What's in that water?
What's in the water?
Everybody's getting married. But in those moments, too, it's like, I feel like God wants us to grow up a little bit. That's a maturing, right? That's a goal being refined moment in our lives, because it's hard to watch people get the things that you've been praying about and seeking for and believing for and going to the Lord for and crying at your bed, laying prostrate before the Lord for, and you feel like you're following His word, but yet you still don't have the thing that you're praying for. God hasn't answered that prayer that you seek. So it's tough to be mature in that moment, spiritually mature in that moment, and celebrate those that have what you want.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Like your celebration, how you celebrate others and how you encourage other in the midst of your storms and the midst of your waiting is everything.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's nothing that's going to steal your joy more for your own life than the comparison of others. And we know this. How many times do we scroll and see a little Instagram graphic quote saying comparison is stealing your joy? But how many times do we then get online and we're loving our bedroom, we're loving our new car that we just got, and then you see somebody else.
Someone roll up in a little 2024 edition, you roll in a little 2005.
Oh.
And you got to look at them like, man, I got that 2025.
And so really also like what getting up is working your own garden and working your own zone. If you want anything in life, tending to your zone. I think sometimes we do look at other people and go, gosh, never gonna have that, or man, like I deserve that. And then it's like, honestly, check your heart and dig around and go, have I done the work? Have I planted the seed? Have I got out there and shared my story or my writing or my book or my creativity? Like, even if it was for 2 people, like, have I put myself out there? Because I think we're in imaginatory land.
In a fantasy land.
Thank you.
Fantasy land.
Patrick's here to like help
I'm here to
but we're in a
piece
fantasy
the puzzle
land.
again.
We're mad at God for a fantasy we have in our head, and He's like, "Hey, could you just go take those little pictures of yourself, and if you're into style or whatever, and make a little TikTok video, or hey, reel. Like you want to start dating, like, hey, could you maybe move churches?" There's nobody here, like, and you're really about wanting to meet someone in church, and you're like, God, He's gonna send him my way. But then maybe God, I know Frederick has that story.
I do.
Like,
so you gotta really listen to the Lord. The Lord said, move churches. You never know why. For me, one of the great things that came out of it was finding Jacqueline and marriage and family, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't left the comfort of being at a church where I was established. I had already knew everybody, serving.
But also the thing, not to just say to church hop, is like you served diligently when there was no girls.
Yes. I moved to a new church and still served. And still was following the Lord and, going through worship when he told me to. And still I knew he told me to move because there's no one there for me. But at the same time, he told me to move because he was trying to build something else in me. My time had come I passed at that church. So it was time to move. And that's the other thing. You just got to listen. Just listen. You have to be very prayerful and listen and obedient.
Prayerful?
Is it prayerful? Prayerful.
For real. Some of y'all need to just leave the dysfunction.
Yeah.
Some of y'all are so upset about stuff, and God is saying, that's not a good friend.
Yeah.
You're not in a great relationship.
Oh, yeah, just roll out. Roll out.
There's obviously so many examples. One more thing I think I want to say about get up is I feel the enemy is using weariness, confusion, dissatisfaction, discontentment to just have people sitting and doing nothing. And so you're literally just laying there night after night after night, day after day. You could be going through all the motions. It's not physically you're just laying there, but you've kind of given up on life.
Yeah.
You've thought, I'm too old. I've hit 35. God, I don't see you coming through. So I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about being childlike. So when you're a child, you actually are so excited about, I heard this the other day, about becoming.
Yeah.
You're in awe of your life. You're becoming. Everything is new. I want to learn everything. Why do we stop that as an adult?
Yeah.
Why do we stop our wonder? Thank you, Shiloh. Why do we stop our wonder? Our, I can be anything. There's something new around the corner. God can do more than I can imagine or believe or think. Like, why don't we start our days going, God, I haven't even seen what you can do. I haven't even seen the best version of myself. So I'm excited to get up and learn something new because life isn't over. If I am breathing, life is not over. And guess what? Nobody can do that for you but you.
That's hard.
Nobody can do that for me but me. As much as I just want Frederick to do it for me,
I can't.
He can't do it.
You're edifying God when you do that, and you're speaking truth about His characteristics.
Yep.
And in a sense, that just builds up our spirits, even though we might be facing some crazy mountains out there. If we take that stance, like you say, and choose to, give God glory and to speak faith into our situation and speak life and not death in our situation. I was going to say that earlier. There's so much power in the tongue. Like, we have, as humans, we're always going to lean to the negative, stating the negative facts about our situation and speaking negativity when we see negativity. Because you can't, when you don't see something happening, you just automatically want to go, oh, well, I guess it's never going to happen. This is never going to, I'm never going to find my relationship. I'm never going to find my husband or wife. I'm never going to get a job. I'm never going to get a family, and that's, you're speaking death over these desires that God's put in your heart. So the more we can speak life over it, regardless of our situation or circumstance, I feel like the more glory you're giving to God, and the more you're even gonna have a different take on things too.
Yeah, you're partnering with the promises of God. So you're actually getting in alignment with your words.
Yeah.
So if your words are life, why won't you speak the promises of God? Hope is believing what we have yet to see. So just because you can't see something does not mean God is not working in the supernatural, working things all for your good. And I'm speaking to the choir because Lord knows some days I just want to you want to have your pity party if you don't see something happening in your timeline? Because our expectations are one thing, but our expectancy to have something happen on our timeline is a very different thing. And that's what I think God is squashing the timeline.
Sure.
He's saying, get up, do something small that activates your faith and says, you believe me.
Yeah.
Way to go, Sarah. You believe me.
Sarah.
So, I don't know.
You heard that, Sarah.
Just came into my mind. Sarah,
You watch it.
you believe what I'm telling you? Then get up and show me. Stop waiting for me to hand deliver you something and get up and go do it.
Do it.
And so that's
Activate
your faith. That is where I'm personally at because sometimes God, it feels like he's a little silent in things and God's like, go back to the last word I just told you. Go back to
and do that
and go do that and then keep doing it and then keep doing it and then keep doing it and then keep doing it. It's like the wall of Jericho.
And believe
Run
at the same
around
time. Because
and
in the wall of Jericho, like the Israelites had to believe that that wall was gonna fall on that seventh day. That's what the word was given to them. They had to believe as they're walking, because if they didn't believe it, they wouldn't have walked.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have did the step that God told them to do.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have walked, and they wouldn't have been. And they have to walk quietly too.
Exactly.
A lot of times, like, we don't need to be out walking, and we can't be walking and making all this noise and stuff. Sometimes God's asking us to do some stuff in the quiet, do some stuff in the silence, in the moments where no one else is going to see it but you and God. And those are the steps He's telling us to take. So sometimes you got to walk quietly.
So, like
in
when
faith.
I worked out today and I told everybody I was doing it.
She should have walked quietly, or she should have worked out quietly. Don't let nobody know.
Hey, everybody, did you see that I worked out today? One time, but I'm there and my abs are chiseled.
She's like, them abs are here, y'all. One workout, abs, let's go.
Let's go, I'm getting my winter abs. Yes, Shiloh.
Shallow's here, and she's like,
we're gonna let her use
it's actually kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to like even look at the camera because she's having a time of her life. Like she thinks, even we must look really funny at this angle to her because she's been like smiling and flapping her arms and kicking her feet this whole time, loving it.
So if you hear her in the background, I'm not sure how much of her she's gonna pick up.
The joyful baby you're hearing back there.
It said joyful. The last verse that just came into my mind was in Deuteronomy when God says, "You have encircled around this mountain long enough. It's time to go up." And this seems like an opposite of circling Jericho, because that, I think, is like consistency when you're not seeing anything.
Yeah.
This is for somebody who is been just riding the same horse, a dead horse, over and over, or you have been positioned somewhere, or a job that's not really like getting you closer to what you feel God's telling you to do. It's time to move forward. It's time to move on. And I think it just takes a lot of self-reflection and just going, like maybe this is a time to move on, move forward. So, fall is around the corner. I love a good
pumpkin spice latte. Oh, I thought
who got their PSL?
I thought you said you love a good. I thought you were gonna say you love a good pumpkin spice latte.
No, I did.
No, you said I love the fall weather. That's what
no, I love PSL. Frederick
hate it.
Could drink 7 of those a day.
No, I cannot. The whole, even when pumpkins come around, it's my least favorite time of the year.
Why?
Just because everything's pumpkin. You got pumpkin spice latte thing. You got pumpkin float, pumpkin ice cream, pumpkin pie.
Floats.
All the pumpkins. Too much pumpkins. Glad you guys came inside with us today, hung out. Just in a little conversation, a little kitchen conversation trickled off into YouTube. But we love you guys, and we're wishing you guys the best this week, all weekend, whatever it is, wherever you're at.
Wherever you're at. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye. Shiloh, you want to say bye?
Shiloh.
There she is.
Oh, yeah.
Party gal.
Yeah.
Party girl.
Yeah.